The monthly meeting of the Fairfield Glade Community Club Board of Directors will come to order. Due to CDC guidelines and the COVID-19 public health advisories for social distancing, this morning's Board of Directors meeting is open to the members of the board, key staff members, and limited observers. This meeting is being recorded, and the video will be posted on the Community Club website for member viewing. To honor America, please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence to remember those serving in uniform and those who have been affected by the COVID-19 virus. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Pat, please call the roll of the board members.
Cox.
Here.
Mr. Thor.
Here.
Mrs. Galloway. Mr. Jones.
Here.
Mrs. Miller. Mrs. Starr.
Here.
Mr. Wentworth.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we have 5 board members present. That's all we can.
Thank you, Pat. We'd like to congratulate Greg Jones, Barbara Storr, and John Wedgeworth, and welcome them to the Board of Directors. First item on the agenda this morning is the approval of the minutes from our prior board meeting. May I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll move.
From the prior board meeting on August 22nd.
I'll so move.
Do we have a second? Second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The minutes of the August 27th meeting are approved. This morning in the audience, I see we have Cumberland County Mayor Alan Foster, 9th District Commissioner Colleen Mall, and I think that's it. So Mayor Foster, did you want to share a few comments?
Good morning. Can you all hear me? I'm going to be brief this morning, so I know the Honorable President Fleur will be happy with that. He always reminds me to be brief. I just want to start out by saying that I want to thank Phil Birdsall and Steve Smith for everything that they did, and welcome. I'm looking forward to getting to know Greg and John here. We have a great relationship with this board, which is a good thing. We get along even when we don't agree, and that's a positive thing, and I'm looking forward to that continuing. Also, Commissioner Mall and John Sherrill, who's not here, won their special elections recently, so look forward to serving with them. Just a few items of interest. The last time I was here, we talked about the budget. Almost no growth and no tax increase. It was passed. It was a conservative budget. We're still looking towards watching revenues with COVID-19. We don't know how that's going to go. We did get our EMS improvements I've discussed. There was a new ambulance, a new day truck put on, and 2 paramedics, and the Lucas devices that do automatic chest compressions for us. So those have proven good outcomes. I think that demonstrates that the commission is as serious as I am about providing good responses. You may have also heard about the Pelfrey property. We're looking to consolidate some services and possibly purchase a set of buildings. It's on Northside Drive and Highway 70 in Crossville. Northside Drive is the road that goes between Romo's and Bojangles and 70. It's right at that light there at the intersection to the left if you were going towards the Playhouse. We're looking at buying that series of buildings. If so, that would help us to consolidate our road department, our election commission, and our building maintenance. So that would be a good purchase if it all works out. I do want to give you the most recent COVID-19 statistics from yesterday at 2. We have 115 active cases. That's down 8. And we have 1,036 people that are either inactive, which means not infectious anymore, or fully recovered, and that was up 22. We have had 18 deaths, and since the beginning, we've had 55 in the hospital. I don't know how many are in it now, but that's all they tell us is the cumulative. But overall, in Cumberland County, we have had 22,680 tests conducted, which is, we're very strong in that, and 88.62% are either inactive or recovered. So our numbers are moving the right direction, guardedly optimistic that they continue to do so, and if anybody has any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Colleen, did you have anything you want? No? Okay. Then I'd like to share the following comments from across the board. We want to start our across-the-board message with a few comments regarding personal choice and taking personal responsibility for our actions. As part of growing up, one of life's lessons is that every decision is a personal choice. Those choices come with outcomes. We learn early on that good choices usually lead to good decisions that have positive consequences and usually end up with positive outcomes. When we look at the outcomes of our decisions, we have another choice to make. Either we own up to the choice we made and take personal responsibility for our decision, or we look for something or someone else to blame. The choices we face and the decisions we make in life can be difficult, and sometimes we are faced with the situation where we do the right thing, make the right decision, but we do it for all the wrong reasons. We can also make wrong decisions for all the right reasons. And nobody ever said that life would be easy or that making decisions would be easy. And that's why they're called tough decisions. Once again, as we have done for several months, we want to stress the importance of making good decisions and good choices as we do everything within our power to avoid exposure to the coronavirus. Taking personal responsibility for the choices we face and the decisions we make is difficult, but remember, those decisions are important to protect yourself, your family members, your neighbors, and your friends. It is our choice, it is our decision. Do we avoid crowds and socially distance? Do we wear a face covering when we are in the company of others? Do we wash our hands and sanitize surfaces? And do we stay at home if we don't feel well? The virus is out there among us and we need to be vigilant. It is always your individual decision as to whether or not you feel comfortable using our facilities or participating in scheduled events. So please, make the right choice, do the right thing, choose to be a part of the solution. So do your part, stay apart, and mask up. This morning, we want to welcome Greg Jones, John Wedgeworth, and Barb Storr to the Board of Directors. We're all looking forward to working with you to lay the foundation for the next 50 years of growth and prosperity here in Fairfield Glade. This year, we were fortunate to have multiple candidates seeking the 2 Community Club Director-at-Large positions. We want to thank Don Elliott, Gary Fitch, Bruce Horn, Jerry Miller, Greg Jones, and John Wedgeworth for participating in this year's election process. The Alzheimer's Tennessee Car Parade. This past Saturday, September 19th, the Community Club partnered with Alzheimer's Tennessee to sponsor a car parade in Fairfield Glade to publicly demonstrate our support for the effort to raise funds to find a cure for this devastating disease. This year's car parade of 80 vehicles took the place of the annual Alzheimer's Tennessee Walk for a Cure. And it was my honor to be an honorary co-chair for that event with Cumberland County Mayor Alan Foster. Here are the latest updates on our major capital projects. Construction on the new Mirror Lake Entertainment Pavilion will continue well into October. Work on the pathways from the parking areas into the gathering area, as well as the plaza in front of the pavilion, will begin in the near future. The Stonehenge Clubhouse. We've received 4 bids for the construction work on Phase 2 project, and a low bid contractor has been identified. A complete scope of work has been developed, and a purchase requisition will be presented today later in today's meeting for consideration. The Racket Center. The final drawings are complete and have been sent to the contractor for final cost estimates. Once these costs are received, a final project scope will be completed, and a purchase requisition will be presented to the Financial Advisory Committee next month. The FAC will make their recommendation to the board, and a PR will be presented for consideration at our October meeting. The Robin Hood Park expansion. The initial clearing in the Phase 1 planning process is proceeding. We are soliciting bids to complete the initial clearing of the area and the Phase 1 projects that include refurbishing the existing pavilion and facilities, in addition to creating a new parking lot. The planning process continues so that we can proceed after the Peavine Road work is completed in the area. And that is our update from across the board. And now, Bob, the General Manager's report.
Thank you. We've completed the parking lot work at the Police Department building, and the only thing left to be done is the ramps coming off of Peavine and Lakeview, which Rogers Group will take care of that, and they've committed that if they mess up what we've done, they will fix it. So we're looking forward to those ramps being completed. We have a presentation later on this morning from Mike Verson, our landscape architect, who's come up with a couple conceptual plans for a new welcome sign for Fairfield Glade, as well as a directional sign. We'll be driving Peavine Road with him after this meeting to look at various locations, as well as additional landscaping opportunities along that stretch from about Edward Jones to the four-way stop at Peavine and Stonehenge. Some deferred maintenance items. We've got new LED and dark sky compliant lights on Fairfield Boulevard. So those are street lights that look very nice. And then with respect to amenities, our year-to-date golf rounds last month end were about 72,000. That's still 23,000 less than budget and last year, totally due to the COVID-19 shutdown. However, Jeff and his team have done a great job to make up rounds each month since June, so there definitely was some pent-up demand, which is good to see. And our average rounds per course this year are 103 compared to 106 in 2019. All in all, operations seem to be going well, and our COVID-19 protocols seem to be working quite well also. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. The next item on the agenda is the resort report, and this will be Barb Stewart's first one this time around.
Welcome. I'm glad to be back on the board as the timeshare director. As you well know, the Wyndham timeshares were shut down due to COVID between the middle of March and June 1st, and then it started back at limited occupancy. And then by July, we were in full gear. Over the Labor Day weekend, we were at 100% occupancy, and they had planned to do a tour of the timeshares to show everyone all the renovations, and we had 80 people sign up for it. Unfortunately, due to COVID, they felt that it was impossible to keep the units clean in between the tour groups. So the plan is next year they want to have that tour, and it will be a bigger thing. They'll have it at the Wyndham Welcome Center and show the history of the Glade and have refreshments, and hopefully have a lot more people sign up for it. So we'll be in touch with you to let you know when that is planned then. As far as Wyndham guests, we've had month-to-date 3,627 guests, and year-to-date 21,975 Wyndham visitors. As far as timeshare revenues, the conference center, we have had $2,660, which is 2% of like revenue. The racket sports, $6,000, which is 5%. Dartmoor, $89,600, which is 43%. St. George is $42,400, which is 31%. Golf, $295,600, which is 9%. Food, $53,000, which is 8%. And totals, Year-to-date, we have 489,420, which is 11%. So far this year, the Wyndham Timeshare guests have contributed almost $500,000 so far to the community club. Thank you.
Thank you, Barb. The next item on the agenda is the Architectural Control Committee report. Doug Mushel.
This report is through the month of August. Miscellaneous approvals, which are changes to established homes, were 138 in August, 1,214 through the year, and 1,220 compared to last year. New homes approved in August were 5, bringing the year total to 55 compared to 63 last year at this time. New homes started 4, 54 through August compared to 63 through August of last year, and new homes completed 6, bringing it to a total of 66 homes completed through August compared to 55 for last year. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. The monthly financial report will be presented by Denise.
Good morning. I'd like to start the report with balance sheet items. For sewer, we have capital cash of $1.2 million, operating cash of $1.6 million, and property, plant, and equipment of $13.4 million. For POA and amenities, we have capital cash of $2.5 million and operating cash of $2.9 million. And PP&E is $36 million and equity at $37 million. For the cash flow or income statement, for sewer, we had results from operating activities were positive $576,000. That's $101,000 positive variance to budget. And that was mainly due to a reduction in spending for materials and supplies of $45,000 and repairs and maintenance of $47,000. And then for net capital income, we had positive $151,000. That's a negative variance to budget of $162,000. And that was due to the sewer availability fees, which was caused by a delay in the starting of new sewer extension department. That had been budgeted for $154,000, and we did not start that department going yet until we'll hold it till next year. Net cash flow after capital expenditures was positive $545,000. For POA and amenities combined for operations, the overall results for operating activities were positive $654. That's a positive variance to budget of $880,000, which is $107,000 ahead of where we were at this time last year. For capital, net capital income was positive $2.1 million. That's a positive variance to budget of $60,000, and that was mainly due to a gain from some sales of capital assets. Total cash flow is positive $732,000, and that includes capital income and capital expenditures and debt service. If we look at POA alone, results from operating activities were positive $1.4 million. That is a positive variance to budget of $1.5 million. Main drivers behind these savings were in G&A, we had a savings of $363, and that was mainly from labor and benefits at $180,000. We also had savings in bad debt and insurance and for admin fees, which included special events, team training, and audit and tax. For marketing events, we had a $105,000 savings, which came from advertising and wages and benefits within marketing and events. We also had $1 million savings in community maintenance. The biggies were road paving, that was $650,000, and lake desilting, which is $165,000. We also saved in contractors, repair and maintenance, and materials and supplies, and wages and benefits. Net cash flow after capital expenditures is positive $3.2 million. $1.8 million of that is from capital and $1.4 from operations. If we come down to amenities, the results from operating activities were $712,000, and that was a negative variance to budget of $581,000. The main drivers for the negative variances was the golf subsidy in golf, which was $226,000. That was a negative variance to budget of $556,000. Revenue was down in golf by $1.2 million, and that was offset by a lot of the savings, which came from labor and benefits, materials and supplies, and repair and maintenance. For food and beverage, the subsidy was $392,000, and that was a negative variance to budget of $139,000. Revenue and expenses were both down due to the closure for COVID. However, we were only down 89% in net income year-to-date over the same period last year. For CCC and recreation, we had a subsidy of $289,000. That was a positive variance to budget of $54,000. But if you look at next year, our net income is pretty flat. So even though we're down, we're still holding our net income to the same level. For marinas, we had operating income of $210,000. That's a positive variance to budget of $54,000. So, and revenues were up slightly over last year, but the expenses were down quite a bit. So we actually are in a positive net profit of $210,000. Net cash flow after capital expenditures is negative $205 million for the period, and $1.8 million from capital, and $581,000 from operations. I did know, if you want to know, I did put acronyms at the bottom, and as I come up with more that maybe people don't understand, I'll add to the list to kind of help out. So, any questions? No? Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Denise. And now Bruce Cox is going to provide a treasurer's report.
Good morning. The sewer department continues to operate normally. We started the year with $2.2 million of cash, and we ended August with $2.8 million of cash. The result for the first 8 months are better than expected, and we don't foresee any troubles going forward. The POA operations area continues to improve with each passing month. August results were good, with continued increased rounds of golf and diners at Stonehenge Grill, reflecting continued use of our facilities by our residents and our visitors. August amenity fee revenues were only slightly unfavorable at a negative $51,000 out of a budget of $1.1 million, bringing our year-to-date amenity revenue total to $2 million unfavorable. We began the year with $1.9 million in POA operating cash, which excludes capital, which is accounted for separately per the CNRs. At the end of August, we had $2.9 million of operating cash, which is an increase of $200,000 from July. Focus continues on cost reductions and savings in operations while providing quality services to our members and guests. As outlined during the recent Treasurer's Report at the annual meeting, major cost reductions included canceling the $165,000 desilting project and the $650,000 for road paving. We continue to monitor labor costs since it's one of our major expenses. Currently, we have 399 active employees, down 8 from last month. 9 employees on furlough, 7 seasonal employees inactive, and 1 employee on leave. Our labor costs in August were $104,000 favorable to budget, bringing our labor costs through August to $642,000 positive compared to budget. The senior managers continue to focus on cost reductions in operations while providing quality services to our members and guests. As outlined during the annual meeting Treasurer's Report, additional savings have occurred as follows: reduced materials and supplies, savings of $484,000, reduced administrative and general